Hello, everyone, and welcome to Spill the Pea. This week, we're exploring Vayechi, which is the last parsha of Bereshit, Genesis. As usual, we're going to start with our summary of the parsha, and then we'll dive into the deeper meaning. We're first told that Yaakov lived in the land of Egypt for 17 years, and that the years of his life were 147. And we're told that the time has approached for Israel to die. So he calls for Yosef and he asks Yosef to place a hand under his thigh and to make an oath that Yosef will not bury him in Egypt. He will lay down with his fathers and Yosef will transport him out of Egypt and bury him with them. So Yosef said, I personally will do as you ask. And Yaakov was like, okay, well, swear to me. Yosef swore to him, and Israel prostrated himself towards the head of the bed. So then Yosef's father fell ill, and he decided to take Manasseh and Ephraim to his father. So someone told Yaakov that Yosef was there, and Israel sat up in the bed. Yaakov told Yosef, El Shaddai appeared to me in Luz in Canaan, and he blessed me and said I would be fruitful and numerous, and I will be made congregations, and this land would be given to my offspring. So then Yaakov says to Yosef, your two sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt will be mine like Reuben and Simeon. But progeny born to you after them shall be yours. They will be included under the name of their brothers with regard to their inheritance. And Israel saw Joseph's sons, and he was like, who are they? And Joseph was like, these are the sons who God gave me. And Israel said that he would bless them. So then Joseph takes Ephraim on his right, which would be the left side of Israel, and he put Manasseh on his left, which would be the right side of Israel. But Israel put his right hand on Ephraim's head, and he put his left hand on Manasseh's head. And he blessed Yosef, and then he says, God before whom my forefathers walked, who shepherded me from my inception until this day, may the angel who redeems me bless the lads, and may my name be declared upon them, and the names of my forefathers, and may they proliferate abundantly like fish within the land. So Yosef didn't like that his father's right hand was on Ephraim's head, and so he tried to switch the hands. But his father was like, I know fully well what's going on here. Manasseh will be great, but Ephraim will be greater, and his offspring will fill the nations. And so he gave another blessing. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. Again, intentionally putting Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel says to Yosef, I'm about to die, but God will be with you and bring you back to the land of your fathers. I have given you Shechem, one more portion than your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and bow. Then Yaakov calls all his sons, and he says that he's going to tell them what will happen to them in the end of days. So first he says to Reuben, you are my firstborn, strength and initial vigor, foremost in rank and power, water like impetuosity. You can't be foremost because you mounted your father's bed and you desecrated him who ascended my couch. Simeon and Levi are comrades. Into their conspiracy may my soul not enter. With their congregation do not join, O my honor. For in their rage they murdered people. Accursed is their rage, for it is intense, and their wrath is harsh. I will separate them in Yaakov and disperse them in Israel. Judah, your brothers will acknowledge you. Your hand will be at your enemy's nape. Your father's sons will prostrate themselves to you. A lion cub is Judah. From the prey, my son, you elevated yourself. You crouch down like a lion, and like an awesome lion, who dares rouse you? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a scholar from amongst his descendants until Shiloh arrives. He will tie his donkey to the vine, he will launder his garments in wine, and his robe in the blood of grapes, red-eyed from wine and white-toothed from milk. Zebulun shall settle by the seashores. He will be at the ship's harbor, and his last border will reach Zidon. Issachar is a strong-boned donkey. He rests between boundaries. He saw tranquility that it was good, and the land that it was pleasant. But he bent his shoulder to bear, and he became an indentured laborer. Dan will avenge his people. The tribes of Israel will be united as one. Dan will be a serpent on the highway, a viper by the path that bites a horse's heels, so its rider falls backwards. For your salvation do I long, O Hashem. Gad will recruit a regiment that will retreat. Asher will have riches and kingly delicacies. Naphtali delivers beautiful sayings. Yosef is a charming son to the eye. All the girls love to look at him. They embittered him and became antagonists. But his bow was firmly placed, and his arms were gilded by the mighty power of Yaakov, and he shepherded the stone of Israel. The God of your father will help you, and Shaddai will bless you from heaven and from below. Blessings of the bosom and the womb. Let the blessings of your father and my fathers be upon Joseph's head and upon the head of exile from his brothers. Benjamin is a wolf. In the morning he devours prey, and in the evening he distributes spoils. And it concludes by saying, all of these are the tribes of Israel. 12. Then their father instructs them and tells them that he would be gathered to his people, and he told them to bury him with his fathers in the cave of Machpelah, which faces Mamre, which Avraham bought, and that's where he was buried with Sarah, Isaac, Rebekah, and Leah. So then Yosef fell upon his father's face. He wept over him, and he kissed him, and he ordered his father to be embalmed. The 40-day term was completed, and then Egypt bewailed him for 70 days. And so then Yosef goes to Pharaoh, and he's like, listen, my father wanted me to bury him in the land of Canaan, so I'm going to go. And Pharaoh was like, go ahead, do what your father asked. And so Yosef went, and all of Pharaoh's servants went, and the elders, etc., went with them. They went to Goen Ha'atad, where they had the eulogy, and he ordained a 7-day mourning period. So the sons did exactly as Yaakov instructed them. They buried him, and then they returned to Egypt. Yosef's brothers were like, well, maybe now that our father is dead, Yosef is going to hate us again, and he's going to repay us all of the evil that we gave to him. So they decided to tell Yosef that before their father died, he gave orders to forgive the brothers for their sin. And Yosef wept when they told him this. And then his brothers were like, we're ready to be your slaves. And Yosef was like, fear not, for am I instead of God? Although you intended harm, God intended good. Fear not, I'll sustain you and your young ones. And it says he spoke to their hearts. And then we're told that Yosef dwelt in Egypt, and he lived to 110 years. And he said to his brothers, I'm going to die soon, but God will remember you and bring you up out of this land. And he told the children of Israel, when God will indeed remember you, you must bring my bones up out of here. Okay, so we go back to the beginning, and Yaakov is still in Egypt, and he's dying. And then we have another oath made under the thigh. The first time this was done was when Avraham asked his house manager to go out and find a wife for Isaac. Now we have it happening again, except this time the oath being made is that the body of Yaakov will be returned to Machpelah. So I'll be honest with you, the significance of the body being buried in Israel is something that was very confusing for me. And maybe it's something that you can relate to also. It's confusing for me because the soul is eternal. The soul is our truest self, and the soul holds the purpose for our life. And the body is a vessel, and a vessel is temporary. But I suppose as I thought through it a bit, I came to understand that a vessel holds such importance because without that specific vessel, our soul wouldn't be able to carry out its specific mission to bring light into this realm. The purpose of each of our souls, most of the time, holds a significance that we may not ever come close to truly understanding. But without our individual vessel, that significance cannot be carried out. And so we see people who are born every day without limbs, or even less obvious, born without sight or hearing, or whatever the case may be. For example, I'm going to butcher the name, Nick Vujicic was born without limbs, and he travels the world inspiring people to believe in themselves because of the vessel that they show up in. But his message would have absolutely no meaning if he was born normal. And that's why I also find it so heartbreaking that so many people feel the need to change their vessels with surgery or makeup or to change the composition of their vessel in some way. It shows a disconnection and a misunderstanding of your soul's purpose because your body is made exactly as it was intended to be made for your soul to bring its light into this world. And maybe we should focus more on that. Anyhow, now that I've gone on this long tangent, that's why we pay such respect to the bodies of the souls who have finished their current purpose. Yaakov understood that his purpose in that specific vessel, the cycle that he came here to complete, it had completed. He finished that cycle. And when the cycle is complete, the vessel needs to be regifted back to the earth, the light from which it came. So this is the long of the short of why Yosef needed to put his hand under Yaakov's thigh. Okay, so we fast forward a bit, and Yosef brings his sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, to Israel to be blessed. Now, in most cultures, the oldest boy is understood to be like, wow, he's that guy. And so, what's the significance of the sides, right versus left hands? The right is chesed, it's kindness, complete giving. The left is gvura, discipline, structure. So naturally, you think that the oldest would be on the right and the younger would be on the left. So, of course, naturally, that's not how it happens. Now, this isn't the first time that the youngest has received the right blessing. The first time it happened because Rebecca's insight led her to have Isaac bless Yaakov and not Esau. Now, Yaakov, who was the youngest that received that blessing, he's intentionally doing the same thing. What's the connection? Oftentimes, as we age, we become less connected because of the ups and downs of life. Youth holds faith. It holds a childlike vigor and excitement. Youth is where we have the most emunah, faith. In youth, we have the closest remembrance of the light from which we came. That's why there are quotes that are like, always remain a child at heart. Childlike doesn't mean immature. It means keeping an open heart that you may always hear the whispers of the Creator. So this year, I'm not going to get into the depth of the meaning of like each son. However, what we will talk about is the broader understanding. Each son makes up the 12 tribes of Israel. But what is Israel? Is it a place or is it something more? Yaakov is Israel and Israel is Yaakov. But Israel is the full connection to Keter, consciousness, being in direct openness and alignment, connection to the light. So the 12 sons are each an aspect of ourselves that we must meet and come in alignment with in order that we meet the ultimate alignment and we stand upright as Israel. We all can be Israel, but it's a choice. So then they bury him, and the brothers go into this whole scheme again that now Yosef is going to be mean to them because they were mean to him. What's the importance? This happened right after Israel left. As soon as there was no physical presence of Israel, they immediately went back to their lesser nature. What's the message? In life, if we don't have something right in front of us, laid out for us in some sort of obvious way, we divert back to having no faith. But is faith believing in something that's right in front of your eyes? Or is faith knowing that our eyes can only perceive that which has already taken shape, but there's energy beyond the physical shape waiting for our faith to fuel its existence? Vayechi is also the last parsha of Bereshit. We started with Adam and Chava not really listening to Hashem. They kind of figured it out along the way, but they also kind of wanted to do their own thing. Then we had Noach. What was significant about Noach? After we have Adam and Chava choosing to do what they wanted, Noach comes in and says, Hashem showed me the purpose of my soul, what light I'm capable of bringing into this world. And he did everything asked of him without question, giving us the true example of what it means to be a vessel in this world in spite of what's around us. Adam and Chava allowed the world to decide for them. Noach understood the world, and he chose conscious alignment with the Creator. Now, after we understand how to be the vessel, what it truly takes to be the vessel, we have Avraham. He's the developed vessel that chooses to go out into the world, showing us that once you know how to be the vessel, you are now charged with going out into the nations and showing other people how they can be a vessel. Avraham also provided us the proper divine masculine structure for Sarah to be the indwelling. And we're given an example of what the balanced divine masculine and feminine look like. We then have Isaac and Ishmael, giving us the choice of whether to behave from our animal tendencies and to be reactive and impulsive, or to be connected, conscious, and responsive. Isaac shows us the importance of patience and discernment. And then we have Yaakov. Yaakov is the third in the direct line. Remember, from Adam and Chava, we skipped several generations to Noach. And from Noach, several generations skipped to Avraham. Avraham, Isaac, and Yaakov are the first real direct one after another examples that we have. And when we have this, we have the one, which is the direct light given, Avraham. We then have two, the separation, Isaac versus Ishmael, and choosing to be the light. And then we have three, Yaakov, who is now the foundation for the light to actually come through in the next generation in a structured way. Yaakov is showing us persistence in being light, persistence in purpose, humility, and faith. Yosef shows us what it means to have utter and complete faith in the Creator. No matter what's thrown at you, it's a part of your story in becoming light. And Judah shows us what it means to hold ourselves accountable. We've only completed the first of the 5 books, but we already have the foundation for growth and development of consciousness. And that's what you need to begin, before you can even think about Lech Lecha. As we've seen the progression from Adam through Yosef and Judah, we can ask ourselves, are you a stable vessel that's prepared to hold light no matter how big or small? Do you put your head down and obey the process instead of seeing it as a sacrifice that you have to make? Are you strong enough within yourself to look opposition in the eye and stand tall, knowing who you are and what your purpose is here? As the masculine, are you a vessel of structure, Or are you a vessel of control? Do you choose impulsivity or responsiveness? Are you humble? Do you hold yourself responsible and take accountability for your words and your actions? Are you truly Hineni? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.